Welcome to episode 4 of Data Driven Tidbits for Teachers. Today we will discuss how to target small group instruction with data by identifying the point of error in the content area of math. To accomplish this task, we will start by reviewing the reporting category reports in EDW for math. This report allows the teacher to take a closer look at student performance within each subcategory assessed on FSA. Because this is a broad overview of student performance, we will dive deeper into the standard and depth of knowledge to assist with identifying the point of error. We will also look at additional PD resources provided in Performance Matters through the Student Item Analysis Report. Our focus for the reporting category report will be 1, to identify performance gaps in math for which assessed subcategory, and 2, how to create student groups based off of critical and exhibited weaknesses. Now, let's unpack the math reporting categories report. We never want to jump to conclusions and assume our level 1 and 2 students need help in all areas, but we must understand with math, all concepts are fair game and build upon one another as the student proceeds to the next grade level. This is why it is essential to identify what exhibited weaknesses a student has within the math reporting categories, because these skills and concepts hold the foundation for students to progress from one grade level to the next grade level. To determine if a student has an exhibited weakness for a subcategory, the student score has to fall below a 70%. For a subcategory to be considered a strength, the student would need to score a 80% or above. To address the deficit subcategory standards at the appropriate depth of knowledge level, teachers would need to create student groups for these students with the identified weaknesses for the purpose of providing differentiated instruction. To determine the instructional focus for small group instruction in math, understanding the math subcategory breakdown of standards is essential. As pictured on screen for grades 3 through 5, the reporting categories are similar with the noticeable differences in grade 4 and 5. In grade 4, the addition of the measurement and geometry subcategory and numbers, operations, and fractions is extended and made into its own subcategory. In grade 5, the skill set of fractions is being added to the operations and thinking subcategory. Keep in mind that 60 to 80% of the FSA math assessment is at the DOK2 level. This means when preparing for small group instruction, instructional lessons and activities need to reflect the appropriate level of DOK that the standard is assessed at. To better understand how each of the subcategories' conceptual skills cross over, if a student in 6th grade has shown an exhibited weakness in grade 5 with the standards in the subcategory of operation, algebraic thinking, and fractions, if those standards and skills are not addressed as the student tries to gain new knowledge in 6th grade with proportion relationships, they will not have a strong foundation to understand the new concepts of ratios without a full understanding of the previous concepts of operations with fractions. The same can be stated at the secondary level for math. As pictured on screen for grades 6 through 8 and in the FSA EOCs, there are noticeable differences within the categories at the middle school level. It's necessary that teachers address the deficits within these categories because, again, in math, all concepts and skills are fair game and build upon one another as the student proceeds to the next grade level. When preparing for small group instruction, instructional lessons and activities need to reflect the appropriate level of DOK that the standard is assessed at, keeping in mind that 60 to 80% of the math assessment is at the DOK2 level. For students taking the FSA EOC, if a student has exhibited weaknesses in grade 8 FSA in the expressions and equations and functions categories, and the weaknesses are not addressed, by the time the student takes the Algebra 1 EOC, the student will have the same deficits on the Algebra 1 EOC in the areas of algebra and modeling and functions and modeling, because the student needs skills from the previous year in order to be successful with the new knowledge for the current year. In order to address the exhibited weaknesses as seen within the reporting category reports, we must now unpack the standard and the depth of knowledge level to assist with identifying the point of error. Here's an example using a 4th grade math standard within the operations and algebraic thinking reporting category at the DOK 2 level. As we unpack this standard, it reflects the operations cluster that requires the student to solve multi-step word problems with whole numbers and having whole number answers using the 4 operations, including problems in which remainders must be interpreted, representing these problems using equations with a letter standing for the unknown quantity, and assess the reasonableness of answers using mental computation and estimation strategies, including rounding. As pictured on screen, the color coding is used to represent each of the skill and/or concepts that the student has to know to acquire mastery for this standard at the grade level. This will assist during the explicit instruction process, ensuring that the teacher has taught the entire standard at the appropriate level of DOK, and with the differentiation process after the teacher has assessed and unpacked the data to identify the point of error. Here are 3 types of math errors that students could be struggling with. 1, vocabulary within the problem. 2, conceptual knowledge of the standard relating back to the skill or concepts within that standard. 3, computation, which is setting up and solving the problem, processing of the information. This consists of a 2-step process, recalling the skill and or concepts, then applying it within the problem and solving it correctly, which is the DOK 2 level. This error is most common among students who score in the below threshold 0 to 49% red and threshold 50 to 74 yellow values of the standard. To better understand student errors around the levels of DOK for math, we will refer to the Distracted Rationale Taxonomy by Pearson Assessments. As seen on the screen, students who struggle with DOK Level 1 make errors that reflect combinations of conceptual misunderstanding with how to relate operational procedures to problems. DOK Level 2, students make errors that reflect computational ability that demonstrates an inadequate conceptual framework and flawed reasoning in support of conclusions or inferences. DOK Level 3, students make errors that reflect analysis and conceptual knowledge with inconsistent reasoning or computational weaknesses. In the Performance Matters platform are some embedded PD resources that can assist with the differentiation process around the point of error within small group instruction. These resources can be located in the Student Item Analysis Report in the Item Attributes tab located next to the standard. As pictured on screen, to access these resources, look for the small circles with an icon in the middle. By clicking on these icons, opens up additional resources for instruction. Within the math content area, these resources are from Khan Academy. When analyzing student responses in the Student Item Analysis Report within the Performance Matters platform, you are able to preview the assessment questions to help provide a clear interpretation of what the question entails, along with seeing each answer choice that the student had to choose from. At the bottom of the answer choice is something called the distractor rationale. This analysis section can assist with identifying the point of error pertaining to the skill and/or concept from the assessed standard. Each analysis provides a detailed response indicating a justification of why the student could have chose that response as pictured on screen. The distractor analysis is available in the math, social studies, science, and civics local assessments and will be available in ELA, math, science, and civics winter diagnostics. Be sure to mark your calendars and join us for the upcoming data-driven tidbit videos. They are posted every third Monday of the month, so mark your calendars now. For more information regarding the topic presented in this video, please feel free to contact your regional EDW specialist and they can come out and provide further support. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.